The next operation what we are going to discuss is the shearing technique. So in shearing technique, what are we doing is we are basically, I'll just change the color. So shearing technique is defined as separating material into two parts. Clear? So we have the sheet metal. You can see it was a continuous sheet. Now we are cutting off the sheet metal from this particular region. How are we cutting it? We are utilizing a punch, which can be called as an upper blade. Clear? So obviously it has to be sharp in order to just cut the metal. Clear? And the force is applied from the top surface and it is applied on the sheet, and the sheet is cut at that particular location. So this is a very basic simple technique. We can generally, on very general note, we can just call it as cutting also, but on a technical sheet metal operation we can call it as shearing technique. Clear? Now let us move to the next slide. This is another technique which of material removal, and this technique is called as blanking. So a piece of sheet metal is removed from a larger piece of stock. This removed piece is not a scrap, it is the useful part. Clear? So what is happening in the blanking operation is, this is the cut section view. Okay, this is a cut section view. Obviously this will be circular and this die will be extended till here. Clear? It will be like this. We have just added a cut section view. So what is happening is we are placing a sheet metal over here. Clear? And we are trying to apply a force from the top, and we are eliminating a piece over here, or we are cutting off a piece. We are removing a piece which is called as blank right now. Okay, and the piece which is removed is generally not the scrap, it is the useful part. The scrap is the leftover sheet. Clear? Just remember, in the blanking procedure or in the blanking operation, the material what we are removing is called a blank, and the blank is not the scrap, it is not the waste material. We are removing it for a purpose. Clear? So that is a useful part for us, and the remaining sheet or the left out sheet metal is just a scrap for us. If we are having material left, we can create more blanks over there. We can just create more blanks and we can generate more useful products which will be processed in the next steps. Clear? So this is a blanking technique. Now let us look at other technique which is little bit similar to this technique, but what is the difference? So I have added a sheet metal over here in the blue color, and I've written blanking over here. You can see blanking over here. So what is happening is, this sheet metal, I mentioned you that we are utilizing this sheet metal and we are removing a part of it which is called as blank. Clear? And this material is the useful product. That is the reason I'm just drawing a tick over here. Clear? So this is the main workpiece, what we can tell, the workpiece which will be utilized for different applications. Clear? And in the piercing operation, the next operation is piercing basically. So what are we doing is we are piercing out, or we are just removing out a circular shape of metal from the useful sheet metal. So this is the useful sheet metal, the blue color thing. Clear? So this is the difference between blanking and piercing. Do not get confused. Blanking, blank is taken out, that is the useful material. Piercing, we are just removing certain amount of material in circular shapes mostly, and that particular material is the scrap over here. Clear? And the leftover material is the useful workpiece. So this is the difference between blanking and piercing. I have explained you with the help of this simple image. Clear? Now let us move to the next slide. So we have the punching operation over here. In the punching operation, what is happening is it is exactly similar to piercing. We are punching out certain amount of material from the sheet metal, but what's the general difference between them is, in piercing mostly we are removing circular shape of material which is called as scrap, but in punching, the shape of the material which is being removed as a scrap can be anything. Okay, it can be a different rectangular shape or a different polygon shape. It can be anything depending on the application of the work. Clear? So that is the punching, and as the name tells itself, we are just punching out, or we are applying a certain force on the material to eliminate or cut off certain amount of material, and this process or this operation is called as punching. Obviously we require a die which will be holding the sheet metal, and it will be having certain amount of shape over here, a hole kind of thing. and we require a punch which is entering from the top and removing certain material which is called as scrap. So this is the useful product, this is the scrap over here which is coming out. So this is the basic description of a punching operation. And I have added over here the piercing operation what I've discussed earlier. I've just added the theoretical part of over here. So we are piercing out a circular metal over here, and the leftover product is the useful workpiece, and the scrap have been eliminated. So this is what I just wanted to explain over there as well. Clear? So I can just skip this slide and go to the next slide. So here we are explaining the blanking and punching process in a bit detail. Okay, so we will see what is this. So this indicates the starting stock produced by shearing operation from a big sheet metal. So what are we doing is generally big sheet metal in the sense the raw material. So the raw material can be present with us in a huge quantity, right? And most of the raw material is stored in the form of rolls. Okay, they are rolled and they are stored, right? So what are we doing is we are taking a sheet, we are just shearing it out, and we are taking the leftover sheet. I'll just clear it. So what are we doing is we are taking out certain sheet, we are shearing it, and the leftover sheet will be utilized for the different operations. Clear? So this is the stock which has been sheared out. So this is the one which I'm utilizing over here right now. Clear? Now this is sent to next operation which is called as blanking over here. And I said you that blanking is a process where we are removing the blank, or we are removing the useful product from the sheet. So this is the useful product over here, and this is the scrap. Clear? Now this useful product is sent for the next process that is called as punching. What did I say in punching? We are taking the sheet metal and we are punching out certain scrap from it. So this is the scrap and this is the useful metal or the useful material which will be used for different application. So you can just see the process over here. First we are taking the raw material, we are shearing off. We have already seen what is shearing. It is simply a cutting process. Okay, so general amount of material, some amount of material is taken, that is sent to the blanking process. Blank is removed, that is a circular, neat circular workpiece, and this circular workpiece is again sent to punching process where we are punching the scrap out from it, and the leftover will be the useful product. So this is how things work, and I'll just stop over here. We'll go to the next video.